All right, well, welcome back to another episode of our Mental Health Moments. Today, I have such a special friend of mine, Will Walls. I'm so excited that you're on this call with us and you're on this video with us. And I can't wait to hear about Walls counseling and what you guys have been doing during COVID. But what I really want to know is, I want to know what Will Walls has been doing during COVID. Like, what is the thing that you've picked up? What is something that was unique? Like, what has it been like for you, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's good to just spend some time with you, and I love supporting EFL and all the work that y'all are doing. So
Awesome.
We have been, probably doing what most folks have been doing, which is just finding ways to occupy our time. I've eaten more cookies than I've ever eaten in my life. And maybe some of you know a celebrity chef named Christina Tosi, and my wife loves baking, and every day Christina Tosi posts a recipe.
Oh, wow.
And I've been lucky enough that Amanda, my wife, has made them all the time, and so we just eat cookies. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that would be healthy for me. Like that, I'm
Yeah.
a cookie guy.
Yeah.
But like, that's a lot of cookies.
I mean, maybe who's counting, right?
Right now, yeah.
Maybe I had 5 last night, and maybe they were delicious. And they were two-tone. It was like tuxedo cookie.
Yeah.
It was like some peanut butter cookie and some brownie cookie, but mixed together, and it was just, it was beautiful.
Our Mental Health Moment show just turned into a cooking show and baking show now.
And gut health. I'm not sure what that has to do with cookies, but.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I think it's good. I've been personally doing a lot of like yard work, and we've been actually taking a patio and just redoing it. Early on in COVID, I took up walking, and then I said, no, that's not for me. And so I said, let's just go back to the yard. And so back to the roots, like figuratively and literally. Just cleaned up the roots of everything going on in the patio. And then I do this like really cool thing, and I shop for shoes. Like, I got a shop for J's like all day.
It made it into the interview.
It made it in. So I shop for J's all day.
If you need, sometimes retail therapy is there for a reason. And if you need advice on buying some J's, then David Galvan is your guy. And he might not let you know that, but now it's on the internet. He'd be happy to help if it supports you.
And if you don't know what J's are, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. This is a no judgment zone. And so there's no judgment. We didn't judge about the cookies. We're not going to judge about the J's, but we'd love for you to look both of those up.
Maybe you'd wear some J's and eat some cookies.
Oh my goodness. How better can it get while watching The Last Dance?
Everything you need to.
Okay, well, hey, it's been a great show, Will. Thanks so much for everything.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, no, into the serious side of things. It's so interesting that I heard it said the other day. It said this. People have said the phrase, we're all in this together, and we're all on the same boat. And I've heard this phrase, and it was really interesting because he goes, we're not in the same boat. We all have different boats that we're in, but we're in the same ocean. Yeah. We're all in the same ocean together. We're all in different boats, and some of us are in a yacht, and some of us are in a paddle boat, and some of us are hanging onto the door like in Titanic. Like some of us are hanging on with the best of it. As a counselor and as a professional in this field of mental health, this being Mental Health Awareness Month, and families going into the summer and have just navigated the transition from being a substitute teacher to now being like family and navigating all these things. Like, what's things that you guys are seeing, and what are things that you would even recommend to families as they navigate this summer?
Yeah, there's two questions there, I guess, 2 answers.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is really interesting, because this is different than probably anything that we've gone through, right? We talked about 1918 and the Spanish flu, and it's been a while since something has shut us down like this. And there's a collective grief, and there's a collective trauma. And so I have the privilege of spending time with people who are teenagers, young adults, and then working with their families. So that's most of what we do. We do some couples counseling, family therapy, some other stuff, but I get to spend a lot of time with people who are kind of 13 to 30, and the counselors who work with me get to do that as well. And people are sad. They're grieving that they aren't with their friends. And it's the month of May, which if you're a parent, the month of May is nuts, and it's about graduations and transitions and summer and all that. So one, I'm seeing collective grief, and we talk a lot about a normal word, noticing, but there's a depth to noticing. And so noticing that we're sad that we're not able to be with people we love. We are maybe really mad or incredibly irritable because we were planning to graduate, or we were planning to maybe watch our kid graduate, or we were planning to have a summer, or whatever was going to bring relief. That there's grief. So noticing that would be important. That's the first thing I think about.
Yeah, as you think about it some more, like I just noticed, like we were just told recently, like Waterworld is shut down for the whole summer. Like that is part of my like summer tradition. Like Waterworld, like getting on that big old drop slide, like there's something inside of me that loves that. But you're right, that grieving process, we got to notice that. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and so if we call it what it is, and if we can find a way to radically accept that, because it doesn't make sense, right? We don't want to accept it. We can radically accept that. Then a lot of times it lets us see what we might really need. It might allow us to have a conversation we just weren't thinking about because we were busy or we were scared of, and we get to be vulnerable, and we get to recover or heal or just understand.
Yeah, that's so good. I like how you said radically accept that. I think a lot of families are going to be going through that this summer, to radically accept that this was it. Like from March 16th, whenever this happened, to where we're at, like those 2 months, we're turning the curve. We just turned the curve of 2 months here, that corner, sorry. And now we have to see what's beyond that. Like what is just on the other side of all of this, and how do we navigate that? And what would you tell? Good. I
think that was your second question. It was about what's been helpful or what I might offer to parents. I think you said something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what are some of those things?
Yeah. So I get to do a few things. We do a few things here. We do all that counseling work that I mentioned earlier, but then I get to train counselors. So I'll train probably 200 or 300 counselors a year. And it's made me a really strong believer in the basic or the fundamental counseling skills. And so for parents, open-ended questions like,
that's good.
Thinking about, or how is this affecting you? Or what is disappointing? Or what would help? Open-ended questions are so helpful. And then other fundamental skills like reflecting feelings, like just naming what somebody else might be feeling. So maybe saying, this is totally depressing.
Yeah.
Sometimes we worry that if we call it what it is, that it'll increase it or worsen it for a person. And the research and the theory and the anecdotal evidence too, not to mention all the research evidence, it just says it doesn't do that. It helps people talk about what's painful and they feel less pain, or it transforms it into something else. So bread and butter, open-ended questions, name some feelings, Google feeling words if you have like bad, mad, glad, and those are the three that you go to. There's lots more that we could use, and in a simple sense that helps people.
Yeah, I think I would recommend Inside Out, watching it 3 or 4 times, watching the movie, get those feelings.
What else?
Look at your emojis and find what emoji you feel like today. Like you can do that. Like there's ways to find feelings. So parents, those things are available to you. They're on your phone. They're available to you. That's so good, because one of the phrases I used early on in a lot of these mental health moments was Mr. Rogers said this phrase. He said, if it's mentionable, it's manageable.
Yeah.
And if we can take that thing and say it and name it for what it is, then we can find ourselves getting into the process of healing and getting into that process of help.
And if we don't mention it, it's really hard to manage it.
Yeah.
And creating an environment where somebody simply can mention it sometimes can make all the difference. And we just don't know what's going on with people, right? All of us, like you said, same ocean, different boats. We respond differently because we're all unique. Nobody's got the same genetics. Nobody has the same experience. All that's mixed up into how we respond. And mentioning it would be, and it's hard with a teenager. I mean, those of you who spouses, teenagers, friends, sometimes it's hard to make it mentionable.
Yeah, because you are in that ocean together, because you are not even be in that same boat together. What are some things as we're going to bring this to a close here? what are some things that you want people to know about Walls Counseling? What are some things that you want to know about anything that you guys offer? And then please let us know your handles and everything from a website. How do we get in contact with you?
Yeah, sure. So there are 3 therapists here at Walls Counseling. All of us have a decade plus individually experience working with teenagers, young adults, and families. So that really is our sweet spot. We have what sets us apart, besides being incredibly relational and in the world of kids and able to speak the language of a kid and an adult. We have postgraduate licensure for addictions counseling. We have licensed therapists. We have folks who have been licensed school counselors, so intimately understand what happens in the world of a high school. We have folks who have trained people in recovering from domestic violence and power and control relationships. And so one of the things that makes us unique is that we get teenagers, young adults, and parents, and also we have specific expertise in these areas that a lot of times people run into, and that there might be a lack of training in. And so we feel really honored to get to work with folks in any of those situations, not to mention folks who are depressed or anxious or just trying to find traction somewhere for themselves or their kids or their marriages. How to find us. So you can go to www.wallscounselingcolorado. People always spell walls in a variety of ways, but it's like the walls in your house. So
Okay.
Colorado. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. And we are happy to spend time on the phone just chatting at no charge about resources or needs. And we're glad we get to help.
Oh my goodness, that's so awesome. Are you guys currently doing telehealth as well? So you can still video during this time?
Yeah. So at this point, people are starting to do in-person sessions again, and folks get to choose. So we easily can do video sessions in a way that's private and secure. We could also do in-person sessions.
Oh my goodness. You guys are such a valuable resource and trusted resource in our community. We are so grateful that we have people like you in our community, especially when we're navigating this current trauma, this current reality. To have wall counseling in our community, we consider ourselves grateful and blessed because of that. And so thank you. Thank you for being in there. Thank you for being those that are leading the charge in the mental health. And along with first responders and hospital workers, you guys are it. You guys are it. And you guys are the thing that are making people to be able to navigate this reality. So thank you. Thank you for your service.
Well, and thank you too. And we're one piece of it, and we're glad that we get to help, like I said earlier. And David, thanks for everything that you're doing with Education for a Lifetime and all of the organizations that you're involved in. So we, like you said earlier, we only succeed together. We're all in this together. So we're glad we're in it with you and that we have you in it with us as well.
That's awesome. Well, hey, thanks for viewing this video. Check out all the links below, whether it's on YouTube, on Facebook. Get on the Walls Counseling, get onto their Instagram, Facebook. They have phenomenal, encouraging messages on there on a regular basis that you can follow that may be helpful for that day or the things that you're going through. And as we like to say here at Education for a Lifetime, know that you're needed, loved, and valued. And as you do that, spread that to somebody else and let them know today that they're needed, loved, and valued. Thanks for being a part of this mental health moment. We look forward to seeing you again.